The goal for many FX traders is to turn their Forex trading into a real and profitable FX business. Boris Schlossberg, Managing Director for FX Strategy at BK Asset Management, also thinks that it's key to understand this type of business. Hello, Boris.
Hi, good to be with you.
Thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure.
So, Boris, what kind of business are we Forex traders in?
Well, you know, most people think that we're in the money-making business or the market prediction business, or even that we are somehow in the finance business. But I think the most important thing to understand about Forex is that we are really in the risk management business. And we have to think of ourselves as companies that manage risk. So whenever I make presentations to investors, I always try to make them understand and try to think in terms of how insurance companies operate, because insurance companies essentially operate in a risk business. And I try to model my own trading behavior very much based upon how insurance companies make their business, because they tend to be very, very profitable over a long term.
And well, but what advice would you give traders in order to manage their risk?
Well, the most important advice, and I think this is a key point that a lot of investors miss, is that first of all, when you look at the insurance business, the most important thing that insurance companies do is they never, ever, ever have unlimited risk. If you're buying an insurance policy, there's always an amount of money that they're willing to pay you out. And that's the same thing that's very, very important as far as for traders. Traders should always have a stop loss and think of it as the maximum amount of risk that they have on their position. So many traders I know, especially new ones, kind of get into the market, they get into a position, and they forget to put a stop loss on, or they think the market is going to come back, or they're afraid to take a loss. And all of those behavior patterns tend to result always in essentially ruin. They basically lose most of their money because they don't manage their trading account the way insurance companies manage their business, by always controlling risk.
Okay, but you also said that there are other main market conditions that a trader should identify. Could you briefly summarize them?
Yes. I mean, overall, basically, there are really only two market conditions that price behaves in. Trend and momentum, which is sort of price going in one direction, it has persistence. And the second, what we call mean reversion or range, where basically the price comes back down and comes back up. And what's fascinating, but also very, very difficult, is that the strategies you use in one strategy or in one market condition are the exact opposite versus the strategies you would use in the other market conditions. So if you're in a trend condition, you always want to be buying new highs and buying new lows because you have persistence, you have prices going up. But if you're in a range environment, then of course it's much more intelligent to sell the new highs and buy the new lows. What's very difficult, and this is where the art of trading really comes in, is to figure out what type of a market condition you're in, and then you can apply those two strategies. If you can figure that out, you're really 90% towards your goal of running a successful business.
But how would you apply all these to a real trading, like for example to the euro dollar?
Well, sure. You know, euro dollar is a very interesting currency pair because it is the most liquid currency pair in the world, and it tends to actually respond relatively well to trending conditions. It's one of the better trending currency pairs in the market. However, what's interesting right now, and this is what's fascinating, the markets always change. And as in current market conditions, the euro dollar actually has been very up and down. It's been much more range bound. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that investors at this point are basically uncertain at exactly how the situation in Europe and how the situation in the US is going to resolve. And when you have these periods of uncertainty, which we do have now, you have much more of a range-based euro dollar. And that's a condition where you've been able to much more successfully sell tops and buy bottoms versus just trying to continuously follow the trend.
Okay, so would you recommend to trade euro dollar right now in the current market conditions?
No, I actually think it's very difficult. I think the euro dollar is extraordinarily difficult to trade right now, but I do think we may be coming up very soon into a change of market conditions where the euro dollar is going to become much more trending, and then it's going to become much more attractive to want to trade euro dollar very soon.
Okay, so let's wait to have these market conditions. Okay, thank you, Boris. Thank you very much for being with us.
Great to be with you as always.